UFC 280 from Abu Dhabi is in the books, and the night's end saw a new champion crowned and one champion hold on to his belt. In the event, headliner Islam Makhachev started his era as the UFC lightweight champion when he claimed the vacant title with a second-round submission of Charles Oliveira in the headlining act. Just a brilliant performance from Makhachev in this fight. He was dominant essentially from beginning to end, was able to do exactly what he wanted in there against Oliveira and ultimately finish the job with the choke, and now he gets to bring his own legacy in the footsteps of his mentor, his friend, and his leader, Khabib Nurmagomedov. I think it's pretty clear what's going to be next for Makhachev here. We saw Alexander Volkanovski enter the octagon after the fight, and we were going to get a champion versus champion bout. Volkanovski, the current featherweight title holder, intending on moving up, and it sounds like he is going to get a home game for it too. The likely headliner for UFC 284 in Perth next February. This is going to be absolutely amazing stuff. Both these guys just on fire right now. A 13-fight winning streak against an 11-fight winning streak in the octagon. What more could you ask for out of these two? It's going to be a great matchup, and I'm really curious to see how Volkanovski's style translates to 155. He seems to think his speed is going to be a huge factor against Makhachev, who thinks he is just too big and powerful for Volkanovski. So just a few short months away. Seems like we're going to see that fight unfold, and it's going to be awesome. As far as the co-main event, Aljamain Sterling scoring a second-round TKO finish of TJ Dillashaw. An interesting fight. Dillashaw injures his shoulder very early on in this fight. Seems he came in with a pre-existing shoulder injury, and it failed him pretty early on in this fight. Sterling has his way, dominates the entire way through until he finishes the job with strikes. Now has 2 title defenses in this reign, and I think he is firmly entrenching himself as a solid champion in this weight class. I know he gets a lot of hate, but he is extremely talented, and he's won 8 fights in a row now, and I look forward to seeing what this reign ultimately turns into, how long it can go. And we know in the UFC bantamweight division, no shortage of title challengers out there for him. The deepest weight class in the sport, in my opinion. But who's going to be next? That is the big question. Coming into this event, Dana White saying that the featured bout on this card between Sean O'Malley and Petr Yan was going to be the title eliminator here, but in the aftermath of the event, seems like they're leaning against that. O'Malley gets a split decision win. I don't think people are beating down the door to see him fight for that title right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave it to him. Of course, O'Malley, a big name, has a lot of clout around him, and I think the way this fight against Yan went, maybe you just want to put him in that title fight now before he loses to someone else in the very upper tier of this division. But if they want to go another direction, I really like Chito Vera as an option. The Henry Cejudo option I think is great as well. Cejudo obviously never lost the belt inside the cage. He relinquished it when he retired. He is now ready to come back, and I think a fight between him and Sterling has been building for quite a while now. So I would love to see that matchup happen. I think Cejudo's grappling, his Olympic gold medal level wrestling game would pose a lot of interesting challenges for Sterling on the mat, and I think the striking, Sterling's length versus Cejudo's speed and power would be a compelling matchup there. So they could go any way in this bantamweight division with Sterling. I think it's a can't miss option. There's anyone you want to pick for him. I think a lot of people would be happy and excited to see it. But for me, I do like that Cejudo fight quite a bit now that he is back and ready to return from retirement. So 2 big-time title fights go down at UFC 280, and they lead to potentially some even bigger fights down the road.